What you're about to watch is a special private training session for people who bought a copy of my book, Built to Serve. Enjoy. Oh my goodness. Look at these beautiful people. I didn't see any poll today of what the theme was. So we'll freestyle it. Whatever's on your mind. How can I help?
All right, I got a question. So, Evan, I'm very fortunate and grateful to say that I've been invited to speak at a virtual event on June 14th.
Let's go.
I didn't expect to get the level of attention that they've given me.
Okay.
It's a 3-day event, 34 speakers, and they put me right after the keynote presentation. I'm the second speaker to present.
Great.
I'm working on the PowerPoint presentation. I'm practicing. Don't have a lot of experience giving presentations. They say 30 minutes, 15 minutes for questions. Curious if you have any advice or feedback, because you're the master at this kind of stuff. So
yeah. Okay. So a couple of things. So as this is fun, as the world's opening up and I'm doing a bunch of presentations. My next one is in Vegas. So maybe I'll see Zan down there. And it's in 2 weeks, I think. And I'm on just before Gary V, I think. Wow. And it's Sean Cannell's YouTube event happening in Vegas. So I've got
Sean Cannell's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's 25 minutes that I'm speaking for. So a couple of things to think about. One, audience interaction is always the best. You know, like most people get up there and just speak and speak and speak and speak. And it's never as personal as it could be. So as much as possible, I love defaulting to as much Q&A as possible, but people need to know they need to know what to ask, right? So if I'm coming into a room and I've got 25 minutes to talk, or you've got half an hour to talk, I would love to set the stage with 10 minutes of talking and presenting something so that people know kind of who you are and what you're talking about. And then as much time as Q&A as possible. That's my personal style. It's the most fun for me when you feel like you're actually helping somebody. I think it's also the most value for the audience too, to see you helping somebody out. It's a lot more dangerous though. It's a lot more risky because you don't know what's going to come at you, and you hope you don't get asked questions that you don't know how to answer. Right? If Tanya says masterclass, I don't know. I don't use masterclass, but you can always say you don't know. There's nothing wrong with saying, "Hey, I don't know." Right? If you don't know, don't fake it and say, well, and like some BS answer, right? So that's more personal preference. I used to do all scripted, perfect PowerPoint, no time for Q&A, because I was worried about disappointing the audience. And I would also talk really fast, which sometimes ESL people couldn't understand. And so it's like, if you think about what's the main thing you want people to get out of this? Like if they're going to go to a 3-day event. You're one speaker out of all of the speakers that are there. They're going to leave with a notebook full of ideas, and most people are going to do 0 on it. This is what happens at events. So if you were the one guy that they remembered for one thing that they're going to take action on, what is that thing? And make the whole presentation about that thing so that they can hopefully get into action mode. The second thing though, like if you want to get more of this, be the person who brings the most value to the event. So when is your event? June something?
June 14th.
June 14th. Perfect. So when Sean, now I've known Sean for a long time, who organized the event, but I said, hey, Sean, initially he was giving me like 11 minutes or something. It's like, cool, Sean, happy to come on, do whatever. But if I'm coming down and I'm going to be there for 3 days, use me. If you want me to do breakdowns of people's channels and you want to sell it as a VIP bonus. If you've got people who've upgraded tickets and you want to give them extra access, I'm happy to do a special session over lunch. If anybody cancels on the day of, I'll come in and talk on their session. If they're hosting any extra panels and you need an extra member, count me in. If you want to do some pre-promotion and talk about it, I'm happy to interview some of the people who are also going to be speakers at the event to talk about your thing, to give you content to go and promote. Like, think about the person organizing this event and how you can be as valuable as possible to them so they have a successful event, as opposed to just thinking about your 30-minute talk on this one day, right? Because that way, you like the next time they're running the event, who they're going to call? Not Ghostbusters, they're calling Andrew Murdoch, right? and you just get known as the person who brings the most value, because most speakers, now it's a virtual event, so it may not be the thing, but most speakers fly in, fly out, and they don't stick around. Where if you're there and you're asking people's questions and you're helping and you're the most valuable person there, you're going to get invited to do a whole bunch more stuff as well. So, people who are putting on these events are under a lot of stress and pressure and a lot of moving parts, a lot of chaos. And people do cancel last minute all the time on things. And if you're the guy who is always picking up the slack, a lot of great things open up to you. I don't know if you know Jamie. Do you know Jamie Kern Lima?
No.
She wrote a book called Believe It. Lady Lexi, Tanya shaking their heads. She wrote a book called Believe It. It was a New York Times bestseller. She's gone on and done events with Tony Robbins and Dean and Brendan and, part of our crew. And she started a company called It Cosmetics and sold it for $1.3 billion in cash. So a pretty awesome story, like female badass success story. And at Brendan's event, so Brendan Burchard was hosting his event, and one of his speakers canceled last minute, like couldn't make it in, whatever reason. And so he's asking who can speak, like who else can come and speak. And Jamie was in the audience, and one of the staff members knew she was there, and she said, have Jamie come up. She's done some on-camera stuff and has a great story. And so Jamie came on stage, and that became the birth of a whole business for her. Now she's a speaker and best-selling author, all of this other stuff, just because she was willing to say yes. So a lot of balls drop on events like this, and just showing that you're willing to be a part of it, to, again, be on panels, replace somebody if they skip out, host an awards. If they're giving out awards, you're happy to host and give out some of the awards, bonuses. Any of the VIPs who are upgrading, part of that bonus could be, I don't know how many people, like it could be one-on-one with you, but that's too many, a group session bonus with you. Like, how can you just bring incredible value to the people putting on the events? And that opens up, if you want to do more speaking and build more connection, that opens up just a huge world of opportunity.
That's fantastic feedback. Thank you so much for that. And speaking to what you just said, just being willing to say yes.
Yeah.
I didn't hear of this event before, never heard of this event before. Mm-hmm. They contacted me like a year ago to guest speak on their podcast. So I did the podcast and then never thought about it ever again. And then randomly they reached out to me and said, hey, Andrew, we really loved having you on the podcast. We'd like you to apply to be a speaker at our event, submit an abstract. Again, submitted the abstract, but didn't give it a second thought. And now, before I know it, now they've got me the second speaker in their event. And I was like, oh, and just being willing to say yes and just take where the universe is guiding me, I guess. So.
Well, and just keep putting out goodness and bringing value, right? I mean, today, Thursday is our public facing day for me. So we started with Brandlytics this morning, and then it's just all day podcasts, and I'm on people's shows, and then this, and then more podcasts. And when people ask me at the end, hey, where can people find you? Like, it's always like, where can people find you? What's one thing you can do for me, right? And if I was on your show, I'd say, hey, Andrew, how many episodes have you created of your show? And you'd say, I don't know, this is episode number 84. Cool. Andrew's done 84 of these episodes, guys. If you love Andrew's work and these episodes and the guests that he brings on, the best thing you can do for me is go give him some love. Go to the YouTube channel, give him a thumbs up, give him a comment, go to iTunes and give him a review and give him 5 stars, because it's so much work to create this show that that little bit that you do means a huge difference to helping that get out to more people, right? So I'll use the time at the end to promote me, to promote you, to promote the host. And so you're the only one who ever does that, right?
Yeah.
And so then you get asked to be on other people's shows. You get asked to come back. You get asked to speak at events, and then you get asked to get paid to speak at events, and then you get book deals, and right? All of this stuff starts to come because you're always looking at, how do I give incredible value to the person who is having me on, right? So you're not just thinking about showing up for the 30-minute podcast or the 30-minute interview. It's like, how do I help this person grow their business and grow their brand and be a catalyst? It's like, for me, it's just good karma. Like, just help. It's great. But it also becomes a killer business strategy, because something will always come back for you.
Yeah. Rising tide. Yeah. Love that, man. Thank you. Thank you
All right.
so much.
Cool. Samit's got his hand up. What do we got, Samit?
How are you, Evan? So,
good, man.
Similar question to Andrew is actually, prior to the invitation, I made an impact at a live event, but trying to get invited to speak at that event and kind of get access in a larger way rather than being a quote attendee, where
Yeah.
I was a attendee of a mastermind. Feel that based on feedback had an impact there. Now they're doing a live event for a larger community and trying to get invited, but wanted to do it in a way there where I'm adding value to them, but not coming off as desperate or.
Okay. So two things. One is in the lead up to the event is that it's ongoing. It's not just, hey, I want to get into this event, that this is a relationship that you're trying to build ongoing. So always looking for new ways to help them, think of them. I have a list of people that I want to stay in touch with. And at least every 90 days, I have to do something to stay in touch with them somehow, right? So put this person on your list, find a way to at least every month, think of some way to add value so that when a next event comes up, you're automatically the person that people are calling. Like, I'm getting destroyed right now with the number of invites to things because over the past 2 years, all I've done has been helping people grow their thing. And now that events are coming back and the world's opening up, everybody's like, hey, Evan, can you come speak at this? Hey, Evan, can you? It's like, now it means it's a great problem to have, but it's because of 2 years of just bringing incredible value to people. So think of it long-term as well. So every 30 days, you're doing something to bring value to them. Second thing is you reach out. Like, now you've got this event coming up, you reach out and think,
can you break it down? When you say add value, what does that mean to you? Like that example of what you shared when it comes to speaking at an event and standing out and doing more than others. Like I wrote down those, like whatever it is in terms of a value opt after that you're adding additional. When you say add value, I feel like sometimes it's harder to break that down of what is actually meant to add value to you.
So that's different for every person, right? So what value is for me is different than what's value for Sergio or Maria, right? So I have a thing called be their chief goal officer. Like whatever their goal is becomes my goal. So if Andrew is going on to speak at this person's stage, what's their goal? Their goal is to have a great event. So Andrew can do more than just give a kick-ass 30-minute speech. He can help the entire event be better and offer the sub in, right? That's useless to somebody who's not hosting an event. So the people who you're trying to connect with, what is value to them? The value that I can bring Brendan Burchard is different than the value that I can bring Peter on, right? It's just everybody's valuing different things. So that's your job, is be their chief goal officer. And here's what's important. Either you can do the work yourself or you can make a connection to somebody who can. Like a lot of times what they need help with isn't something that you can actually do, but you can hustle to find the person who can help them do that thing. And you're the guy who made the connection happen. So we often default to say, well, I don't know how to do that. Well, you don't necessarily have to know how to do that. You can just try to find the person who can help them do that. And a quick tell is look at their Instagram bio, look at their Twitter bio. What are they promoting? What's in their link? That's what they care about the most right now. Help them get more of that thing.
It's interesting. Very helpful.
Yeah. The other part is like, okay, well, that's how to build ongoing relationships. It's what do I do right now? Because there's an event coming up. Like, when is that event coming up?
I think it's third week of June.
Yeah, all these June events, 11. You reach out and say, hey, I'd love to come and speak on X. And I just did this with Alex, who helps me run Toronto Dance Salsa. Alex is going, there's an event in Toronto right now for entrepreneurs, Archangel something happening. And Alex was going to go as a guest. Like, you can't just go as a guest, dude. That's not enough. Like you need to go and you should be on stage doing stuff. And it's like, well, but I don't have, people don't know me as a speaker. I don't have a story to share. It's like, well, and he's already got his lineup booked. It's like, okay, cool. Well, what's your business? He has dance classes, right? He teaches people how to do salsa, bachata, dancing. It's like, so what does an event need? Event needs people to hype them up with dance. You go to a Tony Robbins event, before you get on, you see people dancing, going crazy. Mm-hmm. Reach out to him and say, hey, I'd love to hype up the crowd before you come on and teach them some salsa dancing and get them going so they're not in their seats, right? And he said yes. So now 2 days in a row, it was yesterday and today. This is very meta. It's like happening right now. Alex wakes up at like 5:30 in the morning, gets downtown Toronto to go to this event, and he's hyping up people and teaching them how to dance before the next speaker comes on. This was not something that was initially planned in his event, but it brought value to the person. And sure, maybe people come and they sign up for classes, but the point isn't to sign up for dance classes. we're not selling anything there. The point is to build a relationship with the people who are putting on the event, so that now any future event, guess what? They're going to call Alex and have him be the hype man at the front, teaching people how to dance. Right?
That's super helpful. And then one other thing, I don't know if you've ever endured this, but oftentimes someone throwing the event might have their business in one core area. And if you compete, they're really trying to build referral audiences, but not a competitor. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but it's like chief goal officer. Like, what do they want to build? And you help them try to build it. If they're trying to build a referral business, help them get more referrals. If they're trying to build a direct sales model, help them get more sales. If they're trying to have a great experience, like, and sometimes you have to guess. Like, everything I suggested for Andrew is a guess. I don't know the event. I don't know who those people are. I haven't looked at their bio. I haven't looked at their website, but having done enough events, those things usually come up. Speakers cancel. There's bonus upgrades, right? Like, there's opportunities. Like, the thing with Sean now turned into a 25-minute thing. Now it's supposed to be for 11 minutes and that's it before Gary, right? Now it's 25 minutes. Plus I'm going to be doing 2 other things with them there. Plus we just did a live stream on his channel 2 days ago talking about it. And so now I'm hyper involved in it just because I want to be, because I hate going to an event and just sitting there in the audience. I like to be involved in the thing, but you can take a guess at what they're doing. And the more that they're actually sharing, especially again, like the hack is to look at their Instagram bio, Twitter bio, see what they're promoting. But if you know that, hey, they're trying to build a referral engine, cool. That's like the greatest thing they can tell you. Help them go build a referral engine, either you or make introductions to them that can help.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Evan.
Yeah, cool. And just one last quick thought on all of this, because this all seems to be around like networking, making connections, helping people. Charisma on Command. I don't know if you know their YouTube channel, but they made a video on me saying I was one of the greatest networkers that he had met. Like, the guy who makes like the Charisma channel saying I'm like the greatest networker that he's met. It's crazy because I don't think of myself as a networker. I hate networking events. It's the worst thing of all time for me. Networking, are you kidding me? I don't say hi to people. I hate it. But all I basically was doing as he broke down this video was I was just being people's chief goal officer. So one of the things I did was when somebody came and talked to me, and I always, being an introvert, I'm curious, so I listen. And so I asked, well, what are you doing? Like, why are you here? What are you trying to learn? And one person said that he was doing an interview series on entrepreneurs. I think it was Sean was there interviewing entrepreneurs. He's like, hey, I'm trying to get interviews lined up for my YouTube channel. At the time, it wasn't his Think channel, it was Video Influencers. I think it was the name of the channel. I'm trying to line up people for my channel. So cool. So like, chief goal officer, Sean's here because he wants interviews for his channel, right? So now anytime somebody's telling me about their channel, I introduced him to a bunch of people and other people just based off knowing what they want. It's like, hey, do you know him? Oh, hey, do you know him? Just people who came up to me and started talking. I learned about what they wanted and connecting people together. All of a sudden, I'm this genius networker. I'm like, well, are you kidding me? I'm just trying to help you guys, right? But I didn't do anything. I just introduced 2 people together who didn't know each other because I thought there might be, a common interest or need. And then you get people calling you, you get people wanting you to help them with other things and be involved in their products, services, events, etc. So, value is different to different people. Be their chief goal officer, understand what they want and help them get it. I think it was Zig Ziglar. It's like, you can have anything you want if you help other people get what they want. Something like that. Zane probably knows. Zane, what's the quote?
That's it. You got it.
Just like, be the chief goal officer more than what you're hired to do. The advice for Andrew is like, don't just go and give a kick-ass speech. You could be the most memorable speaker there. Awesome. That's great value. And like, plus, how else can we give value to these guys so that their whole event is amazing, not just your individual speech, right? And if you can start thinking on that level, it feels great, but also amazing things open up to you.
If you want another awesome video in our Black Excellence series, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.